Have you ever wondered whether Native American mindsets or a Christian mindset creates healthier children and families? Well, I explored that today with ChatGPT. It's because I needed to know. The dedication in my book is to a Cherokee proverb, and I'll share that in a second. I am Kerry Blaser, reincarnation of Mary Magdalene, and as a mother and a shaman, I explore family dynamics so that I can bring forward what's best. How can we create healthy children through a healthy individuation process so they have a secure attachment to self, self belief, self confidence? They understand how to operate their own souls, how to operate their bodies for maximum success. Okay, so let's start with the Cherokee proverb from my book, and I'll share my screen. Okay, it says, a woman's highest calling is to lead a man to his soul so as to unite him with Source. Source meaning the universe or God. A man's highest calling is to protect a woman so she is free to walk the earth unharmed. So the woman does inside work and the man does outside work. That sounds pretty balanced to me, but Christianity puts the man as the spiritual authority. And but that makes sense. Their worldview is God is outside of them. God doesn't live inside. So those different worldviews create different family dynamics. So ChatGPT and I explored those family dynamics. And let me go ahead and pull that up. And it's an extensive search, but it's important in it. We rely on Carl Jung. I have a lot of Carl Jung quotes in my book to help us understand this process and how how the Native American mindset and the Christian mindset impacts how the nervous system is regulated in children and which one sets up for success and health. Okay, so let's start here. So we're going to start with the Cherokee, okay? And I put in the proverb, and I said, here's the proverb, and tell me what kind of family dynamic that creates. So the woman's role, connecting to the soul. Psychologically, this means emotional attunement, truth telling, helping regulate feelings, naming meaning, maintaining relational coherence. She functions as a bridge to interiority and conscience, not as a servant. This is not submission. This is emotional leadership. Okay? So, I found that when I see myself as the emotional center of a relationship and I occupy the center and the man provides and protects, he's the orbiter, then I feel really grounded into self. And I know that as women, our nervous systems are far more robust than men's nervous system. So we can handle constantly channeling the universe. Men are designed to disconnect from the universe so they can be in their left brain, logic, hierarchy, planning, strategizing, not in their emotions. Their right brain is the feminine, the emotional side, and our souls communicate through emotions. So now with all this science that we have, maybe it's time to take a new perspective on Christianity. Let's get into the man's role. Protection in indigenous frameworks means physical safety, boundary setting, shielding from exploitation, defending the relational space, restraining aggression, including his own. He functions as a container for safety, not a ruler. He's present. Like, I don't need a man telling me what to do all day long. I'm healthy in my feminine lane. I stay busy. I write my book. I make all my videos. I, do everything I need to do to take care of my feminine self. So I'm my feminine lane as I'm a grown ass adult, right? I know what to do. I've been a mother, I have a master's degree. I'm aware now that I'm healed. And then men stay in their lane. Okay. I don't need an authority figure over me telling me how to connect men to their soul because it comes out of me intuitively. How this sets people up for success. For women, They have social authority, emotional and spiritual. In Christianity, women do not have authority. They're not supposed to talk in church. They're valued intuition. In Christianity, I mean, not anymore, but from the 13th century, maybe through the 19th century, women were burned at the stake for saying their intuition connected them to God. Okay. Now, with women, they're far more robust nervous system. We channel souls to give birth. So, and that's a lot of emotion. Men's nervous system is far more fragile. So keeping them connected to God, to source all day long is not what they're physiologically designed to do. So women have a respected voice, safety to be embodied, and permission to influence. For men, emotional development, accountability to conscience, purpose beyond domination, pride in restraint, self-control, identity grounded in service to life, not control. Now, in Cherokee culture, I mean, this is what little I understand, is that the woman maintains all the property. So the man goes out and he provides all of that, but he has to behave well enough to get back in every night. I've helped men like Andrew Tate just through a personal relationship with his best friend, Justin Waller, with all the women. Well, sounds more like a Christian model than a Native American model. But and for families, mutual dependence, not one-sided, balanced power, low tolerance for abuse, like I just said, high relational stability. This structure tends to produce emotionally integrated men and socially powerful women and resilient children. Exactly what people were after with feminism, right? Socially powerful women doesn't mean that I go out and become a CEO. It means that I know how to pull the wisdom out of my heart and use that to see into society and help bring wisdom to society as a feminine woman, not go, lead a business and dominate everybody in the military. So while I think this is what we want, we didn't know how to achieve it because, men, they don't cry, they're not emotionally connected. Well, when the women are connected to their soul, to their emotions, then they naturally model that to men. But, as a center, I had to accept that when the center's out, my orbiter's way out. So in Christianity, our men have been way out. Like the men that I attracted into my life, they all have multiple women. That's just one challenge. Multiple women, inability to listen, inability to have an argument because, you have a problem, they give you a soft next, like don't bring up issues. Well, that's all the emotional work. And sometimes get blocked from doing emotional work because we'll hear in a minute what Christians have been taught. Okay, but here they also did if it could fail, if it's distorted, risk for women, emotional over responsibility, becoming therapist instead of partner, staying with unsafe men to heal them, self-sacrifice without protection, risk for men, emotional dependence, entitlement to women's labor, passivity, fragile identity. These are all problems we encounter in the Western world. So let's compare to the Christian mindset, okay? Women, spiritual connector. The man, the physical protector. The woman, emotional authority. The man, boundary authority. So they both have authority. It's just, where does it lie? And during my first enlightenment experience, I saw this as the problem that in the Christian mindset, we give all the authority to the man, the woman has none, and then we get the patriarchy. And a lot of war, a lot of nonsensical death. Oh, you're a heretic, kill you. Well, where's the wisdom, right? If we had wisdom, we'd know the woman connects to the soul. But in Christianity, forgiveness, compassion, all right-brained feminine things are institutionalized in the church and the women are kept silent. So women can voice their voice of conscience. Man is the guardian of safety. They both have equal dignity. Now let's look at traditional Christian family models. Women submit, man rule. Women serve, man decides. Women endure, man commands. Moral support, moral authority. Power flows one direction. Okay, we're going to get into the psychological impacts and how the nervous system in the children respond to these two different family models. So the psychological consequences of Christian model for women: trained for self-erasure, just overgive, codependent, chronic guilt for needs, because she's not important. We just self-sacrifice so we can reach heaven. There's a goal outside of ourselves. Spiritualized suffering. Well, I mean, the man is the spiritual center, spiritual leader of the family. But that isn't physiologically what he's designed for. Tolerance of neglect, because they just submit and just tell me what to do. It's like, he's a representation of God inside the family. And so we wonder why women don't value being stay-at-home mothers. I mean, this is pretty clear. Weak boundaries, codependency for men, emotional suppression, exactly what women have been complaining about. So as women, when I learned how to be the emotional center in the relationship, then I naturally help men process their emotions as part of the relationship. Entitlement to authority, identity based on control, difficulty with vulnerability, same problems that we're complaining about right now, fear of failure, distance from children, often produces emotionally absent fathers, overburdened mothers, and anxious children. Oh, when women are overburdened as mothers, do you think they want to stay home and be mothers, or would they rather go to the workplace? Oh, wait, who's going to have the kids? And heaven orientation makes the difference deeper. Christian theology often adds, your reward is later, which encourages women to endure now, men to justify authority now, justice to be postponed, imbalance to be normalized. The Cherokee model is present life oriented. Harmony must exist here or the system is broken. And I'm going to stop this. We're going to come back and I'm going to play a video from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is a neuroscientist and excels at helping people heal from their childhood trauma. And he gets right into this, how the present moment is the key to being a healthy person. Okay, where is he? All right, here he is. It's going to start because I can't start with it all. Okay, so he starts with an Einstein quote that says, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The field meaning the energy field, the particle meaning the body. So when a woman's highest calling is to connect a man to his soul, his energy body, his field, so he can unite with source, then he has much more self-control over his physical body. He can be vulnerable. He can have self-control. All the things that women are asking for, Christianity sets us up not to have. So I see, Christianity as a major challenge for us moving forward. For America, we're a Christian nation. Okay, yes, and it's brought some great things. But what has it brought that isn't so great? So let's get to this video and listen to him, and then we'll get back to the chat.
Einstein said the field, the wave, the energy is the sole governing agency of the particle. Energy controls matter. He didn't say particle controls the particle. He said the field controls the particle. If you change the information in the field, can you change the projection, the particle in three-dimensional reality? This is a holographic universe. So if the quantum field is an invisible field of energy that exists beyond our senses, beyond our body, our environment, and time, then the only way we are going to connect to it is take all of our attention off our body, all of our attention off the environment. What's the environment made of? People, objects, things, places, and take all of your attention off of linear time, the predictable future and the familiar past, and find the sweet spot of the general.
Take your attention off of the external and get to the internal. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Complete contrast to Christianity, and he specializes in trauma healing, and he's a global phenomenon.
generous present moment. That's the unknown. That's the door. That's the moment you become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. That is the moment you are pure consciousness. And that is the moment you're walking through the door to the quantum field. Einstein.
Pure consciousness. Let's remember that, okay? So, it's so helpful to have all the neuroscientists now that we didn't have 2,000 years ago. So let's get back to ChatGPT and keep going because analysis I find very helpful. Okay, so, all right. Right. So Christian theology often adds, your reward is later. See, Dr. Joe Dispenza says the moment is the now. That's where you can access your consciousness. Okay. So, which encourages women to endure now, men to justify authority now, justice to be postponed, imbalance to be normalized. Imbalance normalized? The Cherokee model is present life oriented. Harmony must exist here or the system is broken. So the Cherokee model aligns with Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I'm with him. So let's now, I did some more, okay? So I said about, what did I ask? How does each one impact a child's individuation process, the process through which they become a healthy, mature adult? And their nervous system, how does it calibrate their nervous system for love, compassion, and enlightenment instead of fear, guilt, and shame, which is what a traumatic childhood does? And explain how each mirrors Carl Jung, okay? So, very helpful. So it says, below is a psychology grounded comparison of how the Cherokee relational model and the traditional Christian family model shape a child's individuation, a child's nervous system development, and how each mirrors or conflicts with Carl Jung psychology. So let's start here. First, what a child needs to individuate. So for healthy individuation, a child needs secure attachment, felt safety, mirrored emotions, someone names their inner world, boundaries, protection without domination, permission to separate, balanced parental authority. Well, we already know that Christianity creates imbalance. Mirrored emotions, that's what women do when they stay home. Woman's nervous system is far more robust than a man's nervous system. And women do the internal work, the forgiveness, the compassion, the nurturing. And so that's what the mother in the first 7 years of life is teaching the child. That's why women need to be home with their children to create healthy children so that they individuate from the family over time and become healthy adults. Women are physiologically designed for this function with our far more robust nervous system. But when we have women working and they're stressed out all day long, then we're programming children's nervous systems to be stressed out all day long. So neurologically, the Cherokee model is safety. The ventral vagal nerve is calm social system, okay? And it's not chronic fear, which takes them into the sympathetic fight or flight or the dorsal vagal freeze nervous system. So let's keep going, and what more can we learn? So the Cherokee model, the impact on child development. Women connects to the soul, the emotional, spiritual authority. Those go together because our souls communicate via emotions. So why would you make the woman the emotional center and the man the spiritual authority if you weren't seeking dominance and control? I mean, that's my contention. And when we seek dominance and control, we set people up for the victim mindset, for a codependent relationship. These are all unhealthy. So the man protects physical boundary authority. So the woman is the interior and the man is the exterior. Power is balanced. Well, how does it affect the nervous system of Cherokee kids? The mother is emotional attunement. The father is consistent safety and boundaries. Conflicts are regulated, not terrifying. Authority is protective, not dominating. The result, nervous system stays mostly in ventral vagal, safe and social. Stress resolves quickly, low baseline fear, strong emotional regulation. So these kids can go through a lot and see and experience a lot because they're Parents have taught them how to process their emotions. But does Christianity teach children how to process their emotions, or does it teach them to fear a punishing God? And when you're fearing God, and that's the main source, like the dad is the kind of home representation of God. So dad comes home and you're fearful. How is that creating healthy people in society that are going to make healthy decisions? Or does that create reactive people in society who want to quickly kill people, quickly yell and scream, burn her at the stake, kill the tree niggers? You know, just saying. We got a lot to think about here. Individuation effects, the Jungian view. Child develops strong ego, trust in inner feeling, sense of self, because the self is important. The soul is important. Healthy masculine and feminine inner images. Oh, okay. Ability to separate without guilt. Low shame for autonomy. This directly supports Jungian's individuation. Ego forms securely. Unconscious is not feared. They trust themselves. Inner authority develops. Well, Christianity gives all the authority to God, and we're just the servants of God. When He tells us to kill, we kill. We're servants. Shadow can be integrated safely. The shadow is the subconscious. The psyche learns my inner voice matters, and relationship does not require self-erasure. So, Cherokee model matches Jung almost perfectly. Jung is self inner organizing center. Cherokee, women connects man to soul. Ego needs safety to mature. The man protects. Masculine, the boundary and structure, protector role. Feminine, meaning and connection, soul connector role. Individuation requires balance. And then Cherokee, reciprocal roles, power is balanced. Authority is balanced. This is a psychologically integrated system. The Cherokee system is a psychologically integrated system. Traditional Christian family model, impact on child, the structure. The father's authority, the God image, and God punishes. Mother is sacrifice, emotional labor. The mother is seeing that's a very laborious job, with no appreciation. That's what we hear about mothers, but the mother role. Heaven is an external reward, so you have to wait a long time for your reward. And power is hierarchical. The mom does not have the same power as the father. Do you think that this setup would allow for one man to have multiple women? Was this self-serving so men could validate themselves externally with a lot of women? I mean, the kings, when Christianity was created, had a lot of women. I mean, I think it would. The women sacrifice and the men are the authority. Nervous system effects. Common child experiences. Father is distant, controlling, or emotionally unavailable. Mother, anxious, overfunctioning, self-sacrificing. Conflict, moralized or silenced. Emotions, sinful, selfish, or weak. Conflict, moralized or silenced. When mentally unhealthy people speak, they use fear, guilt, and shame to control others. And I'm going to bring up right now a video from a Christian woman as an example of how she uses fear, guilt, and shame to try to control people around the Charlie Kirk situation, assassination. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Here she is. All right, it's about 4 minutes in, so I gotta bring it up. Oh, let me bring it up here. Sorry, I didn't have it ready. I didn't know I was gonna bring it up, but let me stop it. So about 3 minutes in, let's see, where is she? Okay, let me share my screen. Here we go.
Are you out of your mind? You will never believe what I just saw. I was watching the Will.
Are you out of your mind? She's a Christian woman.
Kane show on Friday, and Will Kane was interviewing Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA. But Charlie Kirk had the audacity to say, no, we shouldn't get involved. He cited
Audacity, fear, guilt, and shame. She doesn't make a logical argument. She uses fear, guilt, and shame to try to control people. That calibrates the nervous system for fear, guilt, and shame. It's not healthy.
Our involvement with Libya and with Gaddafi, a terrorist regime and a terrorist state. But he's using that as a comparison to why we shouldn't get involved with Israel in defending Israel against Iran. Charlie, what are you thinking? Ladies and gentlemen, there is a movement. Start watching these talking head shows and look at the youngers, the 30-somethings, the 40-somethings, the isolationists. They're now saying we shouldn't be getting involved in this war. Well, you know what? I don't want to be involved in Russia's war, and I don't want to be involved in Ukraine. But when it comes to Israel, I've read my Bible, and I know I better be, because in Genesis 12:3, God told,
I better be. God told. Let's hear what God tells her right now.
Abram, I will bless those who bless you and curse him who curses you.
I will curse him who curses you. God is punishing. Lead by fear. When we calibrate our nervous systems to be attracted to fear, guilt, and shame, that's how we make our bodies sick and our minds sick. That's how we create disease in the body. There's so much evidence now that when we exist in those lower vibrating emotions that move below 100 hertz, cancer resonates at like 100 hertz. Viruses at 70, 80 hertz. We're attracting disease into the body to show us how much we hate ourselves. I mean, what else would disease be in the body?
And he who ignores you, Israel, I will utterly destroy.
Destroy. Didn't God create all of us? Aren't we all made in the image of God? How can I be focused on myself and my healthy kids if I'm, okay, did I do it right? Am I right? Am I right? I'm constantly focused outside of myself in this Christian worldview. How can I hold space and be present for my family when I have to worry about God all the time?
Told the prophet Obadiah that in the last days, I think we can all agree we're living in the last days. In the last days, he will wipe out the descendants of Edom because they stood by Charlie Kirk while their brothers were held in captivity, Israel, and they did nothing. Who agrees with that philosophy? That's Bannon. That's Tucker Carlson. That's Candace Owens. And now it's Charlie Kirk. You know, Charlie, don't use that as an excuse. Don't use a terrorist rogue state in the Middle East as the excuse why we shouldn't stand with Israel and have Israel's back. Are you out of your mind? Don't you know your Bible?
Are you out of your mind? Don't you know your Bible? Like, the amount of control and shame used. And in a second, I'm going to stop it here, but in a second, she starts like triangulating to say, well, 2 billion Christians don't agree with you. How can she speak for 2 billion people? Triangulation in psychology, that level of codependence, that's mentally unhealthy. You know, she uses these techniques because she doesn't know how to make a logical argument to get people to agree with her. So she tries to control their emotions. She's controlling their soul, their emotions. It's very emotionally manipulative. But let's get back to the Christian family and what we're learning over here. Okay. So these are the common childhood experiences. Father is distant, controlling, emotionally unavailable. Mother is anxious, overfunctioning, self-sacrificing. Neither of their nervous systems are calibrated for love, compassion, and enlightenment. Both are calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame, like we just saw in that video. Conflict is moralized or silenced. Emotions sinful, selfish, or weak. Result: the child's nervous system often develops hypervigilance. Sympathetic is in fight or flight. That's the reaction. But then those people are easily controlled, which is what the Christian church was really after with the development of nation states around the 2nd, 3rd century. Collapse, people pleasing. Well, now they know that, people who engage in people pleasing or collapse, those are 7 of the 9 reasons people get cancer. as studied by the American Cancer Institutes. Difficulty feeling safe in authority relationships. Oh, so the children's are, going to question authority, right? Chronic stress baseline. They learn love is conditional, power is dangerous, my needs are risky. Can't communicate your needs. If you can't meet your own internal needs, you're constantly looking for other people to meet your needs. That's one man, multiple women. Not emotionally healthy. The structure the Christian family dynamic structure interferes with individuation, okay? Where the Cherokee family dynamic supports individuation. The child develops weak inner authority, strong outer authority dependence, super codependent, fear of separation. So then they stick around, easily controlled. Shame around desires. So then if you have shame around desires, you repress them, and then that comes out as addiction. Like, why do we have so much sex addiction in America? Split psyche, good self versus sinful self. There's no split psyche in Cherokee. There's none. Common outcomes, father complex, authority projected outward. You know, the devouring father, the devouring mother. Mother complex, difficulty assessing the self, delayed or distorted individuation. The ego never fully separates from authority, which is what they want so that the person can be controlled. So the self is not consciously integrated. How this conflicts with Jung. So Jung requires inner authority, and Christian hierarchy produces external authority. Jung requires emotional integration. Christian hierarchy produces emotional suppression. The things that we're complaining about in Western world. Baseline masculine, feminine, balanced masculine, feminine, and then Christian is dominant masculine, suppressed feminine. Jung, safe separation. Christian, guilt for autonomy. God image integrated inwardly, God projected outward. This whole external reality, right? So, but I think it all boils down to when Christians didn't accept that women are naturally the spiritual, emotional center of the family, and they gave that role to the man, that's inverted wisdom. That's a wound. Because that's not based on what creates healthy people. When you work from a wound, then that's where the codependent comes out. That's where the emotionally unbalanced come out. The reactiveness comes out. The control with shame, guilt, and fear comes out. So, as Jung explicitly warned, an externalized God weakens the individual psyche and produces dependence. But when you're seeking control, as in a nation state, that's what they were seeking. So that's why they created this. Okay, so direct comparison summary. Child safety. Cherokee model is high, with a Christian is variable, often low. Nervous system. Here, let's go. Let's like I'll just highlight the nervous system. It's Cherokee is regulated, Christian dysregulated. Emotional validation. Cherokee is high, Christian is conditional. Authority. Cherokee is protective, Christian is dominating. Autonomy. Cherokee is encouraged, Christian is often guilt-laden. Individuation. Cherokee is supported, Christian is obstructed. God image. Internalized self. Externalized authority. Jung alignment. Cherokee strongly aligns with Jung, where Christian is weak and conflicting. So, in plain language, the Cherokee model builds children whose nervous systems feel safe enough to develop a strong inner self, allowing natural individuation and psychological wholeness, exactly what Jung described as the goal of human development. The traditional Christian hierarchical model often conditions children to fear authority, suppress emotion, and outsource meaning, leading to nervous system dysregulation and delayed or distorted individuation. One sentence conclusion. The Cherokee model biologically stabilizes a child's nervous system and psychologically supports Jung's individuation process, while the traditional Christian hierarchy often dysregulates the nervous system and trains dependence on external authority, blocking full development of the self. Well, okay. I'm convinced. Oh, let me stop sharing. I didn't know all this, but Carl Jung is all over my book. And this is yet another synchronicity that I have with Carl Jung. Also, my maiden name is Swiss German like him. I'm psychic, like Carl Jung's whole family was psychic. And the quote that I love the most from Carl Jung, I think, is criticizing Jesus, or the Christian conception of Jesus, when he said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious, our darkness in here, our wounds in here. Turn them into wisdom." When I learned that's what I'm here to do, and that I had to take on Mount Everest-sized wounds to get Mount Everest-sized wisdom, I'm like, oh, that's why all that challenge happened in my life. But my childhood was traumatic and I never learned how to process my emotional pain. I was programmed, my nervous system was calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame. And I only changed that over the past 10 years, and I'm 55 now. Anyway, that was interesting for me. I hope it was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. Reach out with any questions. Take care. Bye.